So obviously this is something that's become a topic with the city of Wausau. The amount of debt is increasing. Mayor Katie said she would be bringing the debt down, but the debt has actually increased, I think doubled in that time. But as Mayor Katie says, some of that has to do with some of the decisions that came from the Milky administration. So we're going to start with Mayor Katie, and then the next one we'll start with Doug. Mayor Katie, what are your thoughts on city debt and how we can decrease it in the next term?
Right. So we obviously have huge projects that are either completed or underway right now with our drinking water treatment facility and our sewer plant. So those decisions were not something that I necessarily got a chance to decide on, but as we've progressed over the last 4 years, it's clear that we needed to address those issues, and we would not have been able to address some of our water issues without that planning. So that doesn't count towards our general obligation debt, which I think is what you're talking about when you talk about the debt doubling. But the good news is, if you look at our budget book, I know it's a couple hundred pages, but in there is a plan, a pretty aggressive debt reduction that both the council has agreed on, and I also have participated in this. So I think, when it comes down to it, they're necessary projects. We've had a lot of time in between when these were built and when we needed to have them updated. And so hopefully as we move forward, we have a better strategy for addressing some of that maintenance, and we don't have to defer that. I understand we've been through recessions and pandemics, but I think we have an opportunity to continue planning for the future and remediating that debt.
Okay. Doug, your response to that question, how we can reduce debt?
Well, what I'd like to do is quote the mayor from 4 years ago when she said about Rob Milky that under the Milky administration, debt has doubled in the last 4 years. And anyone serious about reducing debt isn't going to go down that path. So in the last 4 years, we have gone down that path. Unfortunately, we're sitting at 236 million roughly in debt. Now that's counting everything, but that's how we do it. That's all of our debt. Plus interest is another 40 or 50 million. And we're looking at potentially adding more to that. So I think it starts with the budget process. We need to get a handle on debt. Let's commit to not raising it anymore. We've raised the debt every year in the last 4 years. To have a plan is one thing, to execute it is another.
Any response to that, Mayor Katie?
Yeah, it's always kind of interesting to have these discussions because I do get to propose things in this budget, and you do get to look through it. But, I am not a policymaker. I'm the executive. And so I do rely on the teamwork of our city council. We've had over 60 meetings with the finance committee alone, including 6 meetings a year when it comes to that budget workshop process. So, these are discussions that we should be having. It should probably be happening before a mayoral debate, but that's fine. We should continue having this discussion.
You guys can feel free to keep going.
Well, sure. That's an important distinction. The mayor does have the first crack at the budget. So the mayor offers the budget to the council for review. So that's the first step. And I believe the last budget process, the mayor said that the budget reflects our values. And I agree with that. The budget does reflect our values. And part of those values is the respect for the taxpayer who carries the burden. So I do think we need to make a more concerted effort to put limits on. We set a budget, we pass the budget, and yes, we have multiple meetings to get there, but so frequently we end up January, February, March timeframe with major additions and amendments to the budget process. So I think we need to start getting a little more tough on setting the budget, holding the budget, and doing what we say we will for the taxpayer.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything more to say on that? Like I said, it's kind of open format once we do the opening statement. So.
No, I mean, the only thing I would add is that this process, obviously, of governing needs to be agile. And that's something that we do rely on the council to participate in. We do get a lot of requests from staff with great ideas, folks who want to address the urgent issues facing people we get encounters every day with the community telling us what they need from us, and so we try to be as responsive as possible. And obviously, that means bringing new ideas to the council to talk through, to strategize about, and to make sure that we have the right focus on these issues that people care about.
Well, that's exactly right. So when our finances are in order, we are more able to be flexible and respond to those requests. You know, I guess I'd look at it from a standpoint is I don't want to put the city in a long-term financial burden for any type of political gain. I'm not here to go anywhere. I'm here to hopefully manage the city. You know, the average person has to manage their household finances. They can't live on credit cards forever. And Brian, you're a kind of a penny pincher. I think the frugal. You're a member of the frugal club of some sort. We watch pennies at our household, and I think we should start watching the pennies for the city as well.